Hey everyone, and welcome to Boca Behind the Scenes, a get-to-know-you podcast where we talk to city staff to get details and information about new programs, events, and projects that are taking place right here in your city. My name is Marie Van Casteren, Public Relations Specialist with the city's Communications and Marketing Division, and as always, I am happy to be your host today. So I finally get the opportunity to talk some trash on this podcast. And I mean the 100 tons of daily garbage that our sanitation division picks up kind of trash. In case you missed it earlier this year, the City Council was considering outsourcing sanitation services to a private hauler. After hearing from city staff and residents advocating for probably one of the most hardest working crews in town, they decided to recommit their support for keeping sanitation services in-house. However, this would require a substantial expansion for the division to ensure that the city continues to provide world-class sanitation services. After the final budget hearing on September 24th, the city approved a rate increase for the upcoming fiscal year. Beginning October 1, curbside residential collection will increase by $3.99 per month, and multifamily dwelling units will increase by $2.42 per month. This rate increase will provide numerous improvements for the division, such as new and upgraded sanitation trucks, additional sanitation drivers and collectors, expanded maintenance and storage facilities for the division, and newer technology for safety and customer service. I was able to sit down with our new Municipal Services Director, Zach Bihr, Sanitation Supervisor Leroy and Fleet Superintendent Tony Remige to learn more about the division and the new improvements, how the division operates, and they'll even provide answers to some of the most asked questions from all of you, our residents. Let's hear from newly appointed Municipal Services Director Zach Bihr.
So as far as estimates, there's between 48 and 52 sanitation employees. There's some open positions, and the overall sanitation fleet, I think Tony mentioned, how many vehicles is that?
Over 1,000. It's actually 1,048. I know because I pulled that number yesterday.
Yeah. So
and how many sanitation trucks?
Roughly 40.
And then I think one of the most important parts of Boca, because it's a city within a park, it's a beautiful city with a lot of landscaping, and so to support that, our sanitation division picks up a lot of vegetative and bulk debris.
As I mentioned before, the sanitation division is probably one of the hardest working crews in town. They're awake and on their routes way before most people's alarms even go off. The division serves 93,000 residents, and in 2018, it collected 100 tons of garbage, 16 tons of mixed recycling, 7 tons of bulk, and 31 tons of vegetation daily. Let's learn more about a day in the life of a sanitation collector and driver and what it may look like from longtime city staffer and sanitation supervisor Leroy.
The day is, the average day is 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's until because we run on a task, and when your task is over it, basically that's when we'll see if anybody else needs any help, and then everybody's great.
And then when you're done, do you just get to park the truck in Municipal Services after a hot day out driving the truck, or what's the end look like?
No, you have to make sure that you wash your truck out and get it all situated, gassed up, and everything for the next day.
And what's the best part about your job? What do you enjoy the most?
It's the resident, really, because you get some really great residents out there when you go pick up their garbage. They're out there with a smile, with the kids waving at you, and that just show you're doing something great.
Did you know that the city's award-winning fleet division maintains over 1,000 vehicles for the city? And 40 of them are huge sanitation trucks that the division uses to ensure that they're getting their jobs done for the community. Let's learn more about how these vehicles are maintained from Fleet Superintendent Tony Remige.
You know, there are very many moving parts on a garbage truck.
That's massive.
Yes, and they tend to break down often, develop leaks and things of that nature. So we are, of course, open throughout the day. We're actually open from 7 to 7. And we do what we have to do to keep them on the road.
And recently, they've been replaced and upgraded?
Yes. Trucks we're getting in the 10-year age bracket. We tend to like to replace them like every 6 or 7 years. So there was a lot of wear and tear on the vehicles. So recently we purchased, it was 10 side loaders and also recycle trucks. We have 4 recycle trucks coming also.
And I can tell you, I can jump in and got excited because I went down when the guys were training on the new trucks and got the opportunity to sit in one and turn back into a 5-year-old. But when you're looking at the truck, it looks like a fighter jet cockpit. There's buttons and levers and things everywhere. So the guys make it look easy, but it is quite a craft and a skill to be able to maneuver and make sure they're checking their mirrors and keeping the other residents safe where they're out on the road. On average, their routes, they're picking up about 1,500 units. So stopping 1,500 times a day. Also in between that, going up to the waste station to dispose of the garbage and coming back. So they're on tight schedules and they're working as hard as they can for the city.
Not only does the sanitation department keep our city looking nice and clean, but they are also out in the community serving our city in many different ways. With events such as Touch a Truck and even using their trucks as safety barriers for major events such as the Holiday Street Parade, the Sanitation Division stays true to its world-class reputation.
Well, in Touch a Truck it's a great event because you bring out a lot of kids, and the kids want to see the trucks. They want to see how everything works on the truck. So the kids really love it. And for the trucks for the holiday different events that comes up, we usually bring out our biggest trucks that we got to block all the different roads and to make sure the city is safe during that time.
As mentioned earlier in the podcast, the Sanitation Division will see some new upgrades and additions to ensure that they continue to provide the best quality of service to residents.
Yeah, so one of the newest technologies we're having placed in the trucks is a live video feed. So we'll be able to not only see the driver in action, but we'll be able to watch through the front of the windshield and also all around the truck. So we'll be able to see what's going on.
Yeah, and it adds a whole lot from both the sanitation perspective and the fleet perspective because it's on the front end and on the back end. So it really helps the drivers get better at what they're doing. And then there's also a GPS component and some other mechanical components. So if a driver's braking hard or takes some hard turns or other things that might wear on the vehicle, it would identify that, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of talk to them and just provide a longer life of a truck that keeps the trucks on the road, that provides that service for the residents.
Residents can call the Sanitation Department directly and speak with a live person to get any and all questions answered. Let's hear more about what this awesome part of the team does and some of the top questions residents are asking.
Every day they wake up and have to come in and do their best. And I mean, I've seen it. When they get calls, they'll go back out. And if residents do late, they take their garbage out late, or if they have other bulk or other items, our sanitation division really does a world-class job of coordinating with the residents and making sure they'll go back.
And they always, when they call, they're not talking to, an automated message. They're actually talking to real live people.
That's correct, yes.
So this is the fun part. So I actually called Dana and Ratilda, who are the ladies behind the phones, who are constantly taking these phone calls, and I asked them to give me the top questions that people get, or that they get from residents. So the first one is, what are my collection days? What are other ways that they can find out what their collection days are?
Certainly. So the city provides or will be providing a brochure, which they do annually, which has both a map of the city and the collection days. And then they can also look on the city's website, or if need be, again, if there's any confusion about it, they can call city staff, and we'll be happy to walk through it with them.
Leroy, you could probably answer this, but what items are acceptable for me to include with my trash? So, when it comes to bulk and vegetation and all that, what are items that are acceptable?
Well, for garbage, we accept any kind of garbage that you have. But we have most people want to put wood in the garbage can instead of putting the wood on the ground. Wood is not acceptable. And for vegetation and your bulk, we would like everybody to separate it. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have. We'll get a call and say, they didn't pick up my bulk, but you got it mixed all up with your vegetation.
Okay.
So we're not going to pick it up that way. And we have then dealing with the garbage can, the biggest thing is mailbox. Everybody want to put the garbage can by the mailbox. It's got to be 5 feet, 5 to 7 feet from the mailbox in your recycle bin where the truck can easily pick it up.
Next question. If I have damages to my container, how do I get a new one?
So with that, you can reach out to the city with the direct line if you look on the website. And that request goes into both of our great administrative staff, and I believe the deliveries happen on Wednesdays. And so they can either, for their recycling bins, they can come directly to the city Municipal Services. There's a phone at the front desk that they can call, and someone will help them. And again, with the garbage cans, that's just a phone call to the city. We can arrange to deliver a new garbage can.
The expansion of the Sanitation Services Division includes adding new staff members to join the team. Let's hear more about what the division is looking for in these applicants.
The baseline is how long have you been with the city?
17 years.
17 years, and that was one of the coolest things when I started, is going around and seeing just how long. Tony, how long you been with the city?
Just short of 15.
So 15. So when you hear that number and you understand the difference and working as a public servant and that customer service aspect, we look for people who really want to develop a relationship with the residents. They see them every week. They're out. Sanitation is one of our most visible divisions that is out interacting with the residents. So we look for guys with really good attitudes and a willingness to serve the public, and they work hard. They work hard out there. So having that can-do attitude to go out and get the job done.
Well, I'd just like to add that the city of Boca is a great city to work for. If you want a job and you're willing to work, it's hard work, but it pays off at the end.
So I hope you all enjoyed and learned something from our Trash Talking podcast. But if you ever have any questions regarding your sanitation services, you can visit the city's website at myboca.us/sanitation. You can find information on your zone, what day your pickup is, items you can and can't put into your trash or recycling bins, and so much more. You can also pick up the annual sanitation brochure at the City Hall or any of the community centers or libraries. Or like you heard on our podcast, you can always pick up the phone and speak directly to our dedicated staff. That number is 561-416-3367. Thanks so much for tuning in again to Boca Behind the Scenes.